Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a video of my story while I do my makeup because I thought rather than just doing a boring sit down video like this, I could show you my makeup. So I'm going to be starting off with the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. So we'll start from the very beginning. So at the end of 2018, December time, start of December, I started to get pain in like where my knee was, like just below my knee, and I didn't know what it was, but at the time I was doing a lot of gymnastics, a lot of running, and a lot of like just different sports. I was getting into trampolining as well, and all that. So I just put it down. I told my dad, and we just said it could be down to me doing a lot of sports. So we just thought it might just be I've twisted it or something. So we just kind of said we'll see how it goes, and then if it gets any worse we'll go see the doctor. So I didn't mention it again till the 26th of December. So on the 21st, I think it was, we had actually gone to London, and we had walked miles, and when I say miles I mean absolute miles, and I didn't complain then. Oh yeah, using the, now I'm going in with the Dream Matte Mousse. So I didn't complain then. Like I did say, oh, my leg's a bit like it's a bit sore, can we just take like a 10-minute break? And we did, and it seemed to be fine. But on the 26th, so the day after Christmas, we were at my uncle's, and I said to my dad, oh, it's keeping me up at night, it's aching, I'm getting these sensations in my foot, and my dad straight away, like, well, not straight away, he kind of figured it doesn't sound like a normal sporting injury. It just sounds like might be ligament damage, but if it is ligament damage you won't get those sensations in your foot, and he's like, he knows people and he has done his ligaments before. So because we weren't at home, we didn't like get a doctor's appointment, and because over Christmas and New Year it's so hard to get a doctor's appointment, we managed to get an appointment on the 2nd of January. So we went to the doctor's and he had a feel, and it was very painful to touch, because even if my brother would accidentally knock it, I would be in so much pain. But he sent us to our local hospital for an x-ray just in case, but he told us it looks like ligament damage. So we went for the x-ray, and like we came home, and my dad had left his phone in his pocket, and we decided that we were going to watch a film. So he just like left his phone in his pocket, and then he checked it after we'd watched our film, and he had so many missed calls, and it was from like different hospitals as well, just saying to like ring them. They said it was nothing to worry about, but could we go and see them on the Friday? We said, yeah, we'll come in. My dad Googled all my symptoms, which you shouldn't do because it always comes up with the worst. But he Googled it anyway and rang my nan and said, like, I don't think it's ligament damage. I think it is something like worse. And she just said, don't worry, you know, like, I'm sure it's not, you know, you're probably just, like, your mind's just going crazy and you're just thinking the worst. But we went in and they sent us to the fracture clinic. So I said to my dad, oh, maybe I've like fractured it or like broke it or whatever. And she took us in and she said, is it okay if the nurse specialist comes in? And because I hardly like went to the hospital apart from when I like broke my fingers. And she was like, oh, can the nurse specialist come in with us? And I was like, yeah, that's fine, you know. But my dad said he knew straight away that it wasn't good. I'm next going in with the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in shade Porcelain. And she just sat us down and she just said, Keris, I'm going to be honest with you. You have bone cancer. And she said, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I think in all my years of like being an oncology like doctor, I know what it looks like. I think you've got an osteosarcoma, but we won't know fully until we have the biopsy, which I had, which confirmed that I had like bone cancer, the osteosarcoma. So when I got told, I did cry, but I straight away got home and I said to my dad, can I go walk next door to the dog? Because that's something that I love to do. I did it like every day if I could. They've moved now, but it was such a nice thing to do. And I just loved doing it. And I went round and I walked there. I took that little girl to the park as well. And next I'm going in with the Stay Matte powder by Rimmel London. Focus. And I was fine from then. And then like after that I had to make a couple weeks later, before I started the chemotherapy, I had to make the decision to have my ovary removed, because basically the chemotherapy is most likely going to kill my ovaries. So what they do is they take the ovary out, they cut it up and they freeze it in liquid nitrogen in Oxford, and they have to get it to at least 30 pieces, and any more you can sign a thing to put it towards research, and that's what I did. And so they're going to be testing on bits of my ovary. So I had a central line put in as well, at the same time as having my ovary removed, and a central line leads directly to your heart. It goes in here, and it goes like over your collarbone, and it goes directly to your heart. And it has 2 lumens at the end, which you can have blood taken from, and then the chemotherapy goes through it. And just all of, like, if you need antibiotics, like, all that is easy, like, accessibility. So I had that done at the same time. I had that done at the start of Feb. Next, going in with the Revolution matte base powder in shade P10, and I'm just going to use it as a bronzer. I also had an MRI scan, CT scans, bone scans, x-rays, just a lot, and lung scans, because osteosarcoma tends to spread to the lungs, and if it spreads to the lungs, it's palliative care only, which, if you don't know what that means, it basically means their job is just to try and make you live longer. There's nothing else that can be done. So mine has not spread to the lungs, so that's all good. So I was going through my treatment. I had cisplatin and doxorubicin, and then I went to Birmingham Children's Hospital to have methotrexate, which is a very intensive one, and it can do a lot of damage. After my first dose, I had acute liver failure, so I went completely yellow, and I was put on the transplant list. And after doing all the transplant assessment, they came back to us and they said that I could not have a transplant because they've got to lower your immune system for 2 weeks before you have the transplant and 2 weeks afterwards. They said my cancer would just spread all around my body in every bone, so they could not do that because it would just be too dangerous, and it's just not, they just couldn't do it. So they said that we could either go home or stay in hospital, but there's nothing else they can do. So we said we would go home, and about a week after we got home, my liver started to regenerate, and it started to just work and do what a liver should do. So that was like amazing news. So now I've got a fully working liver. So they gave me for surgery for my tumour. They said there was 3 options. They said they could there's 2 ways they could save the leg, or amputate it, and amputation was the safest option. So I said, as soon as we got out of the meeting into the car, I said to my dad that I wanted the amputation, and he said that he thinks that's the best option for me, but it's up to me, and he will support me in whatever I decide. So I went for the amputation. So I'm now an amputee, and I had the amputation on the 24th of May. But it's good that I chose the amputation because they came back to us and said the other two options weren't safe at all, so they couldn't do it. So I had the amputation on the 24th of May, and it's hard, but I always find ways to do things. So I went into school the day before my amputation as well because I just love going into school, and people think I'm crazy for it, but it's the it's normal to go to school, and once you've been out of school as much as I have, it does get pretty boring, and it's like you miss the social side of it as well. So I'm going in with the number 7 powder in translucent. So people like think that I just spend all my time at home, but this year I've spent 32 weeks in hospital, and that's not including like 1 day stays or the day treatments that I have, or like when I have like biopsies and that, but that was earlier in the year. So I've spent a lot of time in hospital, but I've made some friends, which is good, but some of them, one of them has rang the bell now, so that's amazing. So I got to watch her ring the bell, and I've got to meet other people who have got like the same cancer as me, and I've learnt about different cancers. So I've made some friends which I wouldn't have made if I didn't get diagnosed. So kind of trying to look on the positive side, really. But people ask me like how when I'm going to get my prosthetic. So at the moment they don't want to push me too hard while I'm still having the intensive chemo. So they want to wait until I've finished that, and then they'll go more into it. But they, at my when I went to the physio session, they said that flexibility is not an issue for me, and that I'm at the right height and in the right age, because I'll stop growing soon. So it's some good things coming soon. So I'll be walking with my prosthetic leg probably by next year, end of next year maybe. So next I'm going in with the Morphe blush trio thing. So I asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me some questions. I didn't get very many, but I'll just answer them anyway. But if you do have any questions, I'll put my Instagram in the description, and you can go ask me on there, or you can put it on the comments on here because I'll reply to them. So let's have a look at these questions. So someone asked if I have breast cancer. They put, "I'll pray for you, hope you get well in the name of Jesus." I don't have breast cancer, I have bone cancer, which is osteosarcoma. What has been the most difficult part for you? PS, you're the strongest person I know. Thank you. And I think the hardest part was the liver failure, when I got told that I could either go home with like the community nurses coming out or stay in hospital. So have you met other people with cancer, like a group or something? So I've met quite a few other people, and like they do social events, so they do like different ones, so you can just go out for food, you can go to Cadbury's World, they do Harry Potter World, they do so many things, and it's nice because you get to like meet other people. So yeah. Have you had your leg amputated because of your cancer? Yes, I have. What was the hardest part of your journey? Also, I'm so proud of you, you're such an inspiration. Thank you very much. I think the hardest part was still the liver failure. The amputation, I was pretty good with it. I got out of hospital 5 days after the amputation, and they said I could be in there for up to 2 weeks. And they said I'll be in intensive care for like 48 hours. I was in there 8 hours. So you gotta have determination. Like, you can't just sit around and mope, because it's not the end of the world. Like, it's not the end. You can still do things. How long is your chemo? Okay, so I forgot to explain this, but now I'm on a 36-week course of chemo, and I am quite a bit way through. So I go in next Wednesday for, I think it's 4 days intensive chemo. Well, you have 3 days intensive chemo, but you go in for 4 days because you need hydration as well. And so I go in then, and my intensive one should finish, the last one should be the last week of November. So I'm getting close to finish the intensive stuff, and then I have day treatments. So I was having them twice a week. So it's just, you go into clinic and you have it infused through your central line, and then you just have a bit of fluid afterwards, like 10 minutes, and then you go, and it takes about an hour like to do the whole thing, but you're in there about an hour and a half because there's other people in there. So I'll have those till about February, March time. So, do you still have it? Will it ever go? Has it spread all over? So I don't still have it. The reason they're doing the chemotherapy is because it's just in case there's other like cancer cells around my body that could form and like form a new tumour. So this is just in case. Will it ever go? So like the main tumour's gone, but there's nothing else on my scans, but they've just got to be cautious. Has it spread all over? No. What was it like being told you had cancer? You're doing so well, gorgeous. Thank you. Being told I had cancer was very hard at first, but I just thought it's life's decision to give me that. So I've just got to show it that I just don't care and just get past it. And for anyone else, if they're watching this, that have got cancer and you're feeling down, it's not the end. You can still do everything you want to. Just sometimes your levels might be down, so you just say, right, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it the next day. So you've still got your whole life to plan out things, or you can just make a list of what you want to do and just cross them off and do it. It's not the end. So that's all the question. So and I'm just going to do my highlighter and brush. I'm using the Revolution Vivid Golden Baked highlight, and it is so good. So I just there's a mirror here, that's why I keep looking over here. So just do the inner corners. So if you guys are struggling with like anything, or you don't understand like something that I've said in the video, then just DM me, or like just write me a comment or whatever, and I will respond to you. So I hope you guys like this video. If you want to see more, then please hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Bye.